Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Day Trading with Nuke. And this morning we're having a few technical issues. I replaced a sound card in my computer yesterday, and that fixed one problem. When I cranked up to make this video, it caused two more problems. So hopefully this afternoon I'll be able to get that worked out. In the meantime, I found a workaround. Might not be the best, but we're going to roll with it and just make it work. Alrighty, so starting on the bottom end of the spectrum on the lowest price is going to be NIO, N-I-O. That thing shot up yesterday from somewhere around the $6 mark all the way up to the $8 range. And what has happened with it, as you can tell throughout the pre-market hours, it started to set in some lower highs, but it's also set in some higher lows, constantly moving its way up. So what I would see with this thing is if it can break this pre-market resistance, see it jump right on up, test the 844, probably bounce back down to retest the resistance line before bouncing back up around that 844 mark. And then if it breaks it and it has good market support behind it, as you can see, it has had the potential to run, $5 to $6 in the very recent past. So potentially seeing it jump up to the 956 should not be a problem. And then beyond that, we can project that out according to the Fibonacci on whatever it'll hold at the 100% marks. But in the meantime, in the event that it cannot hold the support line, then I'd see it retest to $7.28, which is the pre-market low set at just after closing yesterday. I just don't really see that as long as market sentiment gets behind it. I see this thing more squeezing up again. People are kind of greedy, and these lower cap stocks are moving, so I don't see it jumping down around the 614 mark. If you look at it on the 4-hour chart, this thing has some previous support here. All of these Fibonacci levels mark out nicely with where it had previous resistance. So I definitely can see this holding some water as we move forward throughout the day with NIO. We'll have to see. IGC, that's our next ticket. This thing's been hot for a few days. If you notice, we've been playing the same tickers a lot. I like to keep my focus on what's moving. IGC is cooling down a little bit from previous movement here lately. It's holding a very nice trend line for both the support and resistance. So what does that look like? Good Lord, get back here. When you look at it a little bit closer, you notice how it's not getting up there and touching it on the high side, and on the low side it hasn't touched there either. So it's playing a little skinny, which is okay. We're just basically moving down into this wedge, and the closer we get to this wedge, you'll see it decide it's going to want to jump out of the wedge on either the top side or the bottom. And where we're at in relation to the Bollinger Band, here it is in the top, here it is at the bottom. We're basically center punching the Bollinger Band. So right in the middle. I don't personally think this thing's ready to go up for a skyrocket ride up or down right now. I think we got a little more consolidating to do. But what does that look like to us in terms of value? 471 to 608 is our pre-market channel. And then on the higher side up to 745, lower side down to 334. So we'll have to see how that pans out. Next up, NBEV, the darling of the week. Pre-market action has been huge. I mean, just huge. Who's that old Charles Barkley? Huge. It was something like huge. Anyway, what does that look like? Our pre-market highs put us around 634. Our pre-market lows put us down around 545. Didn't even map out a resistance on this thing. You can see how it's holding a steady uptrend. I'm expecting some consolidation around this point with a retest of the support line. If that support holds, expect it to bounce up to the 715. If the support can't hold, expect it to retest the 545. What does it look like in the very recent past? Well, you can see right around each one of these levels, we have had some previous support and resistance. I don't see it dropping all the way down here. Doesn't mean it can't. I just don't see it happening today. I firmly see it between the 544 and the 715. But we will let it play out and see where it goes. I think we'll be somewhere up to here. Especially with NIO cracking like it is, that's going to take a lot of the market share interest away from that NBEV. AMD, this thing has been having some great days lately. Pre-market movement sets the Fibonacci. The pre-market high was 27.75 with a pre-market low of 27.22 or 21. This thing is currently broke the lower side support line. I would expect to see this thing bounce around and channel up in here. If in fact it cannot hold the support, I expect to see it retest the 27.21, retest the support, and if that does not work, break all the way down to 26.67. And if in fact it does ping pong back in here, expect to retest this resistance at some point. If it can break through this resistance, I expect to see it retest the 27.75 once or twice, and then if it can break over that, it could shoot straight up to the 28.97. What does that look like for us on previous support and resistance? The 27 or 26.67 is strong, and then so is the 27.21. Also, we had a couple of times we stalled out here at the 27.75, multiple days, and then a couple of days where we had hit the 28.29. So all of this is having previous support and resistance as well. So I don't know. Depends on how much market sentiment it gets compared to the rest of these tickers. All right. I had 3 of the blue chips for you. BABA, which we'll just get into the highs and lows. The pre-market low being 140. Oh, wow. I must have not did these. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we'll do them right now. Bob was kind of testing that lower side. At the moment, I guess I'd have to say I'd be expecting this thing to continue to the downside. It's going to do what it wants to do according to the SPY. If the SPY doesn't take a bounce, then I'd expect to see BABA to continue on down. Yeah, this is kind of the lowest I've seen BABA, so what are we look? Oh, yeah, we don't want to do that. Yeah, this is kind of nasty, isn't it? Well, I believe in fibs, so I would expect BABA to stay between the 147 and the 141 with a propensity to follow on down to the downside. So I expect to see that fill in this chart in this area. All right, next up is going to be Apple. And I'm sure it didn't want to play from yesterday. Mark this one out real quick. Oh, look at that, how the last few hours this thing has just dropped off. So we'll pop us a Fibonacci on the top side. I doubt we'll ever get the chance to use it. You know, these things go through these cycles. People see money being made in the low dollar tickers right now. They're a lot cheaper to get into. You get a lot more for your money, and people are playing the hell out of them. Where does this end up with here? I'll have to draw this manually. Why is TOS just being such a pain? Guys, I'm sorry for this. It takes an extra minute or two. TOS just has not been friendly at all when it comes to... So now it's not... My line's not even carrying over. Hmm. I don't know what it's doing. All right. Well, I'm not going to mark this out here. You can do it for yourself. 227 on the high side, 225 on the low side. Or am I just in the, maybe I was in the wrong spot. Yeah, there we go. Let's try it now. All right. So mark these out. So what does this look like for us? Honestly, I could see this thing channel trending, but unless the market gains some support for these higher dollar tickers, I could see this thing continuing to the downside. We've got really good support down here around the 220, 223 area. I don't think that, well, 223.59, you'll have some resistance there at the 50-cent mark, but 223 as a whole, I think, will be a little bit better. And then let's see, on the high side, this 227, yeah, it's got some pretty good support there. I just don't see it breaking above that unless the SPY really catches ground and starts moving up. All right, and last but not least, this is one I have not played before, but we will take a look at it, and it is called ASML. It's a holdings company. And nope, I'm not going to give you. The only reason it made it, it sold a lot of shares overnight. It had a gap down. I wouldn't touch this thing today. It might work out for some of you guys, but this chart to me is just ugly. Not enough consistent volume throughout the days. So not something I would touch. So not going to give you a prediction on it. Nope, 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 nope. If you play ASML, good luck. You're on your own. Don't say I told you to do it. All right, guys, I'm getting this out of here. Good luck. Stay safe. Stay green. And hopefully this afternoon we'll come back with a little bit different version of the daily recap. Had a couple of requests in there. Some of the guys want to see more about like particular trades and where I would take an entry at, where I would take an exit at. So maybe we'll do either a shorter recap of the entire day, or maybe we'll go ahead and incorporate those trades into it. It just depends. I know there's no way that I can get it done in about a 5 to 7 minute recap if I start including trades that I take throughout the day and why. But if that's something that more of you would like to see, keep the feedback coming and let me know. I totally have no problems going into that. After all, we're doing this for you, so I want to be able to get you content that is helpful for you. So we'll break that down with how I'm using the Fibonacci to help me decide on my entry points, exit points, my stop loss, and at some point here I'll be uploading some entire video content on the trading process, just how I plan trades in general, more about using the Fibonacci. We have a lot to come. It's just I've been trying to focus on getting better at this thing that we're doing here. So I don't want to throw out content that is a little deeper in meaning, but I'm still not getting my feet underneath me in the YouTube proficiency. So keep the comments coming, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And we're making steady progress every day, guys. We're up over 170 now, so we're getting close to that 200 member mark. And then the 250 member mark should be a little closer to get to as friends of friends start joining. Keep spreading the good word. Let's see how fast we can get this thing up over 250 and up to 500. All right, guys, I'll see y'all this afternoon.